Isang masayang pagbati sa inyong lahat na aming mga ginigiliw na mga partners. Kasama ng dekalidad na produkto at serbisyo, pinagbubuti ng UltraPak na lagi kayong mabigyan ng mga napapanahon at mahahalagang impormasyon na naglalayong kayo ay matulungan sa inyong negosyo sa pagbababoy. Kasama si Marc Laurent, Technical Swine Manager, ADM Asia. Inihahandog ng UltraPak High Density Feeds ang isa na namang webisode para sa inyo. Dito sa Webisode 4, maglalahad si Marc Laurent ng mga dapat tandaan na gawin sa inyong farm pagdating sa pagdadagdag ng alagang baboy or repopulation. Ang Webisode 4 na may title na How and When to Repopulate ay napapanahon para sa mga farms na nag-iisip magsimula magparami ng kanilang alaga. Tumutok na at makinig!
Welcome everybody. Thanks for looking and joining again. Like we mentioned last time, biosecurity is an essential part of any pig farm for protection of farm against the introduction of disease, reduction of consequences of disease existing already in the farm environment, so pathogen which can enter in the farm, so in many ways. So there are pigs, the people's farmer visitors, transport materials used in the farm, feeds, air, semen. And biosecurity include farm management, farm design, decontamination, random, bird control, insect control, and all have a direct impact on productivity and profitability of any pig farm. So last time we reviewed biosecurity rules related to human, vehicles, supplies, and introduction of animals, which is the biggest risk for the health of your farm. And this time we will focus more on how and when to repopulate a farm which has been faced to ASF. In the Philippines, 1710 protocols have been implemented to manage and control the spread of the disease, where pigs within 1 kilometer radius of infected areas will be killed. All farm within a 7-kilometer radius will be under strict surveillance, and swine farm within a 10-kilometer radius will be mandated to submit a report regarding the disease. So a farmer who intends to repopulate should not have a new ASF outbreak within 1 kilometer and should be empty for a minimum of 40 days, which is recommended by OIE. At the end of this agreed destocking period, pigs may be reintroduced to previously infected farms. So this should be done if there is no risk that the farm will be reinfected. So an environment sampling or bioassay should be done to validate the quality of cleaning and disinfection of the farm by using laboratory tests. And this first screening test should be done after cleaning disinfection. Should collect environment samples in the farm which intend to repopulate, but also from farm within a 500-meter radius of this infected farm. Environmental samples should be collected from well water, topsoils, burial seed, surface of the gestation pen, farrowing pen, nursery growing pen, pathway, canals, stocks of room feed, weighing market area. Positive PCR test should be required at the farm to repeat the procedure of cleaning, disinfection and downtime. The second screening test. This should be done 7 days after the initial one. You should collect environment samples and submit for testing using PCR. If the results are negative for the second bioassay using PCR, the farm is qualified to receive Sentinel animals and shall now prepare the area for the introduction of Sentinel animals. Means restocking to full capacity should only take place after Sentinel pigs have been introduced. It's about 10% of the normal stocking rate of your farm. And of course, the Sentinel should be tested negative for antibiotic against ASF or should come from a farm non-subjected to ASF restriction. Sentinel's animals should be at least 60 days old, weighing about 15-20 kilograms each. And these pigs must be observed closely about 6 to 8 weeks to ensure they stay free of ASF before full repopulation of the farm. In nursery and finisher barn, in total 2 to 3 pigs should enter per pen. Those pigs should be allowed to walk freely around all pen, alley and corridor. In the south farm, it's not advised to lock the animals in crate. Should be also allowed to have access to all area of the farm. In fact, pigs are much better at moving around, licking things that we are testing. So if there is something, the pig will pick up. After introduction of the animals onto the farm, it is important to monitor sentinels about 60 days. The sentinel must be periodic. Blood samples will be taken on them and make sure they remain negative. Perform a weekly testing of the live animals. So monitoring and testing include weekly monitoring for absence of clinical sign of ASF. If signs are observed, disease investigation will have to be done. As a screening test, fecal samples will be collected at day 7 and 21 and testing using an ASF test kit. If results are positive, validation will have to be done via a PCR test. If the PCR results are still positive, a depopulation procedure for ASF will have to be done. If the initial tests are negative, the remaining procedure for repopulation protocol shall proceed. For the final test before release from quarantine, blood samples will be collected on day 40 for PCR test. To have all dead animals inspected by a vet, and tissue should be submitted for a laboratory test. And once all procedures have been completed and all quarantine periods are over, and once all tests have been returned negative for ASF, state district should lift all restriction of the farms and the farmer may fully restock. You have to restock after a last cleanup and disinfection. I should not mention, but of course it is essential that pigs used for repopulation come from an ASF-free zone or country. And if the pigs are imported from other countries, this disease status of those countries regarding ASF and other important disease should be well known. It would be a disaster to replace ASF by another disease that might take many years to eradicate. Furthermore, transportation, including drivers and other personnel involved into the transportation, should follow also a strict biosecurity procedure before, during and after the transportation of the pigs used for restocking. And those procedures shall include disinfection, downtime, provision of personal protective equipment. Yeah. That's all for today. So some tips for you on how to repopulate and how to use the Sentinel's animals. Thank you for watching.
Para sa mga dagdag kaalaman, huwag kalimutan mag-subscribe sa UltraPak YouTube. Maraming salamat, Packers!